What's good, YouTubers and YouTubettes? This is JBsports back again with another one. Frank Martin has made his presence known in the lightweight division. Put on a scintillating performance. He watched Martin-Rivera. He dominated this fight to the surprise of yours truly and many boxing pundits and boxing experts. Going into this fight, a lot of people thought this was a 50-50 fight. Now, I did a video a couple of days ago, and I said that Frank Martin would win the fight, but I thought it would be a very close fight. I thought the fight would probably come down to what a particular judge prefers. He likes the guy that's throwing a lot of punches, a guy that's being more active, or do he like the guy that's landing the more cleaner, the more effective punches? But it didn't even go down like that, as Frank Martin dominated him. He basically stifled Martin-Rivera's offense. When I was watching that fight, I was like, God damn, he must have hit Martin-Rivera with something hard early on, because Martin-Rivera not even letting his hands go. I ain't never seen Martin-Rivera this less offensive. It was a surprise to myself, man. I was like, damn, I ain't never seen him fight like this. But when you fight a technician, man, he gonna disarm you. And that's exactly what happened, man. Frank Martin disarmed Martin-Rivera. He disarmed him, and he took away his best attribute. That's his offense. He hit him with something hard early, got his attention, made him hesitant to pull the trigger. I didn't know if I was watching Martin-Rivera or Adrian Broner, man. The boy didn't want to let his hands go, but that power is real by Frank Martin. This guy is a pound for pound future fighter, in my opinion. I would like to see him fight Shakur Stevenson, man. I think that would be a real good fight, man. Two technicians, two guys with high boxing IQs. That would be a great fight. When you're just talking about pure boxers, at 135 pounds, I would rate Shakur Stevenson probably slightly ahead of Frank Martin, because I've seen him do it longer. But, man, I'm telling you right now, that would be a great matchup as far as stylistically, man. It probably wouldn't be that great because it'd be a chess match. You know, it's going to be a fight not for the casuals. It'll be for the hardcore boxing fans, man. Guys that know the sweet science. It will be a sweet science paradise observing that fight. So we will see what happens, and we will see what transpires. Now, when I broke this fight down a couple of days ago, I had a couple of people in the comment section saying, man, you crazy, man. Martin-Rivera gonna do him in. He gonna beat him down like he stole something. You know, people like Rafael Gonzalez and Melvin Braxton. I think Melvin Braxton is a closet Crawford fan. He probably wanted to see Frank Martin lose, because Frank Martin is a protege of Errol True Spence, so he probably wanted to see him take that L just off of that. But it's not about all that, man. It's about breaking down the fights and giving my expert opinion who I think was going to win. And I told you guys Frank Martin was going to win. I didn't think he was going to win in this fashion now. I didn't think he was going to dominate this boy. He basically pitched a shutout. I gave Rivera one round, but it was 12-0, 11-1 at best. He dominated Martin-Rivera. Martin-Rivera, at the end of the day, I think that the punch that said he landed a total of, was it 67 punches, or was it 74? Somewhere in the 60s, high 60s, early, low 70s were punches landed by Rivera in a 12-round fight. And you go back and watch Rivera fights, he probably had 70 punches landed in the first half of probably majority of his fights. But he pitched a shutout, a beautiful display, a beautiful performance. It was Van Gogh. When Van Gogh was out there painting those masterpieces, that's what this was. It was a masterpiece performance by Frank Martin. This guy's arrived on the scene. He called out Gervonta Tank Davis. He wanted all the smoke. He's out of the Errol Spence Jr. School of Fighting. You know you're a great fighter when you got guys come up under you and fight your style of fighting. Jamel Charlo fights that style of fighting. He didn't fight like that under Ronnie Shields. But when he got with Derrick James, he implemented that style, and, you know, he put his own flavor on it. Everybody gonna put your own flavor on it, but the basics stay the same. And when you look at Jamel Charlo, Frank Martin, and the originator, Errol Spence Jr., Derrick James, man, you got to get this guy his flowers, man. You got to give him his flowers, man. He gonna have to get him a trainer of the year. You gave the trainer of the year to Teofimo Lopez, daddy, just off of one win, but Derrick James is doing it not one, but two, but three occasions with three different fighters. You see what he's doing with Errol Spence Jr., unified welterweight champion. You see what he's doing with Jamel Charlo, undisputed at 154 pounds. And then you see what he's doing with Ryan Martin. Frank Martin. You see what he's doing with him as he's on the brink of fighting for a world title. So we will see what happens, and we will see what transpires. Now, as far as Michel Rivera goes, he's got to go back to the drawing board. I still think he's a top 10 lightweight. He can beat a lot of guys, but to me, I think it's a ceiling on his progress as far as what he can become in the sport of boxing. I think he can probably become a world champion, man, but I think he's not an elite fighter. He can't beat the elites of the elites. You know, he just might be a guy that's in the wrong era. You know, you had guys back in the day that were good fighters, probably would have had world titles, but they was just in the wrong era. Remember back in the 70s, you had guys like Ernest Shavers. You know, probably now, he probably have a belt. Now, you got Daniel Dubois sitting there with a WBA regular heavyweight title. You think if he got a belt, you think Ernest Shavers couldn't get no belt if he fought now in his heyday? Hell yeah, he could get a belt. You know what I'm saying? So it's just a different time and things like that. You know, you got guys that sometimes you just in the wrong era. Sometimes you're in a good era, like a Vladimir Klitschko. He was in a good era where he could dominate because there wasn't no elite heavyweights. You know, if you'd have put him back there when Holyfield was out there and Riddick Bowe and even Lennox Lewis in his heyday, he wouldn't have dominated that era like he dominated the era post Lennox Lewis, post Mike Tyson, post Evander Holyfield. So we will see what happens, and we will see what transpires. But a beautiful performance by Frank Martin. He was able to establish the jab like I said he should have done, because, you know, in his previous fights, he was doing the jab as more of a range finder, except the left hand. But this fight here tonight, this past evening, he was able to use the jab and double up on the jab and use the jab to make Michel Rivera constantly have to reset. Beautiful the performance. He was able to hit him with the 1-2. He was able to catch him with the straight left hand. He was able to go to the body. He was able to establish his dominance in the ring. He was able to show that it's levels to this, and I'm on a whole different level. He was able to expose Michel Rivera as a guy that's straight up and down, no special effects. Nothing special about him. He's a B-level fighter, and he's a guy that can beat a lot of guys at lightweight, but he can't beat the creme de la cremes. He can't beat, obviously, he got exposed last night. Definitely can't beat Frank Martin. Got beat by Frank Martin. I don't think he can beat Shakur Stevenson. I don't think he can beat Ryan Garcia. I don't think he can beat, you know what would be a good fight? I would like to see him fight a William Sabata. That'd be a good test for William Sabata. He dominated Jojo Diaz. Ooh, yeah. He dominated him in dramatic fashion, got in my top 5 lightweight. I'd like to see him fight William Zapata. That would be a very interesting matchup to see where William Zapata is, what level he's on. That'll be a good test. I think that's what Michel Rivera is going to be. He's going to be a good test for a lot of the top lightweights to see if they're elite or if they're just very good. So we will see what happens, and we will see what transpires. Great performance by Frank Martin. Put on a vintage performance. He watched Michel Rivera beat him down, and he was able to dominate him. The only thing that was missing was a knockout. He dropped him, what was that, the 3rd round? He dropped him in the 3rd round with a beautiful shot. He punched with Michel Rivera, and his punch got there before Michel Rivera punch got there, and they got there with more force. He was able to drop Michel Rivera. Rivera got up. I thought Frank Martin maybe could have jumped on him and tried to close the show, but he was still a little cautious, still a little weary of the power that Rivera brings. So he just stayed on his stayed on the bike and basically used the jab and used his attributes, his superiority technically wise, great foot movement, great footwork. He just was a better athlete, faster hands, better technically, high boxing IQ. And the only thing I can see Michel Rivera could have done was use his size advantage. He was actually the bigger guy in the ring. You could tell there, looking at those two guys in that square circle, that Michel Rivera was a naturally bigger guy. So all I could see he could have done different was try to close the distance, take a chance, go through that fire. That's what he didn't want to do, obviously. Go through that fire, close distance, and try to back up Frank Martin. Get up on the ropes, use your size and weight advantage, and try to basically mug him against the ropes and try to roughhouse him. But that's not his style. His style is more, you see what on his trunks. He got Ali on his trunks. He want to fight on the outside, look pretty, jab, use combinations, and, basically a pot shot from the outside and try to time his opponent coming in. But he wasn't able to do that with a guy that was, I told you in the breakdown of this fight, was a superior defensive fighter in comparison to Martin-Rivera, and it was on full display last night. Martin-Rivera, in his last fight before the Frank Martin fight, was getting touched up, and I said in my prediction video that was going to be a problem, that Frank Martin was the superior defensive fighter, and that showed very true in the fight last night. So we will see what happens, and we will see what transpires. I would like to see Frank Martin take on, now a lot of people call him out Rolly Romero, but from what I'm hearing, Rolly Romero is moving up to 140 pounds, so that's out of the equation. I think right now he's in prime position to take on Gervonta Tank Davis, but Gervonta Tank Davis pretty much has his next couple of fights mapped out, as he's going to be taking on Hector Luis Garcia, and after that he's looking to take on Ryan Garcia. So Frank Martin is in a same kind of position as a Jerome Boots Ennis. He in the same position. He just got to stay busy, keep winning, and just wait for his title opportunity. A lot of the champions are not going to be looking to get in the ring with him. Now, Devin Haney, who is undisputed at 135 pounds, the #1 fighter in the lightweight division, has a fight coming up with Vasily Lomachenko. If he's successful in that fight, he in all likelihood will move up to 140. So it's a possibility. I don't know what his rankings is outside of the WBA, but if he's ranked in the WBC, the WBO, IBF, it's a possibility that he could fight for a vacant world title. I think that's probably be the likely scenario as far as Frank Martin becoming a champion at 135 pounds. So we will see what happens, and we will see what transpires. Follow me on Facebook, Gerard.Briscoe.3551. Like, share, and subscribe to JB Sports, the man, the myth, the legend. And I holla.